Hello, my name's Washboardjim. I'm the founder of the Sneaky Snake Trading Strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And right now we're going to talk about the watch list this coming week with a case study that I've been doing for my challenge account. It's just kind of a warm-up account to see how I can do on this strategy. And it's turning out to be pretty good. I think I'm kind of crystallizing as I go in the process of learning the strategy. It's a real simple strategy. It's chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. But this time, we're using only SMAs. Jot this down: the 10, the 20, and the 200. And I'm going to show you exactly what we did Friday on a trade, and then we're going to run through the watch list. These are the two I'm going to be using, Magnificent 7, and then this one right here, I call it my own here. So we had a little sneaky snake drop on us. Now this is on the 1 minute, and I was going back and forth between the 1 minute and the 2 minute on this here time frame, and it offered a couple of good trades that I took, and then I scalped it inside the channel. So here's the 2 minute. We have the snake, we found a channel, and then once we broke out, we created what you call inverse head and shoulders. Well, this left out with two engulfing candles, and it broke out of that channel and run into the 20. The blue line is the 10, the 20 is the white line, and the 200 is the gold, yellow, whatever color you want to call that, brown line. So as we were getting out of the snake, we realized, okay, this has caught my attention. And I always look for a pullback on any breakout, right? It's just mandatory. You don't have to jump in. Usually the prices are a little jacked up right here. So let it pull back a little bit, which they always do. And right at that time is when I took that trade, right when I hit that previous resistance. You can see it right here. It pulled back. We had the breakout out of that channel. Then it pulled back and hit that previous resistance. Then you let out with 3 white soldiers. This trade was good. It consolidated another row of soldiers. And then it started breaking down to that 10. As long as I'm above that 10, from here on out, I'm staying in the trade. Once it starts to descend out of that 10, I'll ask myself, am I still bullish or not? I'll sell it. If not, I'll wait for it to hit the 20 and see if it just holds there, because I should maybe be up like we were right here. But you know, it's kind of cutting its price down once it hit the 20 right there. So if I look at this same chart with the 1 minute, we had the big breakout and the pullback right to that right shoulder, which landed right on the old resistance. So you got your snake breakout. You don't take the trade. Wait for a pattern to form once it breaks out of that snake. In this case, the pattern was it pulled back and hit the 10. The 10 and the 20. And then the 20 started crossing over the 10. Plus it came back and hit that previous resistance. Then you had a spinning top right here, and she just took off. Well, every bit of that was bullish. Then you had another flag. Same thing happened. You got the crossover. You stay into the trade. Once it dips down below the trade, you got 3 black crows on the 1 minute. Is a sign of bearishness. Now it depends on where that thing is, but this time, small little three crows, and it pulls back. It breaks out a little bit, then it keeps on that downtrend and keeps building a bull flag. That's a bull flag. And then we had the crossover, and boom, right into close, out of the trade. See where the 10 crossed over the 21. Here, We draw the channel in. You can do this all day long. This is the easiest trade I think a third grader could learn how to do this, as long as they could count to 3. If they can count to 3, they can trade with me. If they can count to 4, they just might make a little bit more. So we had the snake. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, breaks out 1, 2, 3 into 3 white soldiers. 3 white soldiers is a continuation pattern. Don't forget it. You consolidate and you continue. You consolidate and you continue. You consolidate and you continue. Example: 3 white soldiers, consolidate. 3 white soldiers, consolidate. 3 white soldiers, consolidate. Then we gave up. That's time to exit the trade. So I could have stayed in that trade. We had the crossover, so now I'm really bullish. And I could have stayed in that trade until up here. Each one of these represents a minute. If you're trading SPX, you got this entry right here. Unless you took this, tweezer bottom, you probably didn't. Then we had the crossover, we had the engulfing candle. So you know that this is getting ready to break out as the candles start to squeeze. Then you had a doji and an inverted hammer, and she broke out, and then she held the 200 all the way up for an exit idea right there until she broke down over the 10. So we're going to go through the watch list. We had a lot of good runners. First one out of the gate is Apple, and I'm going to show you how to, and let's see if there's another trade here. We got 1, 2, 3 trades, and then you can trade channel. You can also trade the channel. Every time it hit the 20 or the 10 and it stayed in that channel, you'd scalp it. One at 5-day. And here's the other trade. That morning, you had a fallen wedge. I also traded this one. Chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. That's a fallen wedge. It breaks out of the gate, then you have the crossover, but this is engulfing, so you jump right into it as it bounces off the 20. You know it's a pretty good trade, and it runs on. Then when it crosses the 20, you're out of the trade. Very bullish. Comes back and hits the 200 for confirmation of support. Then you consolidate with tweezer bottom. You got a hammer, tweezer bottom, and she breaks up. If you can count to 4, you can make a little bit more. 1, 2, 3, 4. Boom. Same thing right here. Nice little scalp. I made a lot of 10 percenters, 6 percenters, 19, 16. I did 9 trades, and I had 1 bad trade. And I wasn't sticking to the plan. So we're going to go in here to do Apple. Apple on the 1 minute. Right out of the gate, we have a fallen wedge. If you can count to 4, you can make a little bit more. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. So we got an inverse head and shoulders, and we got a fallen wedge. I made this so easy. If you can count to 3 or 4, if you count to 5, you might take a nosedive. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're squeezing in the wedge. The 10 is crossing the 21. Here's your trade right here. You jumped in the trade. You held the 10. Now you held the 200. You decide to stay in the trade or you decide to sell. Either one right in here. But then you popped right back in it. Had another breakout. We're way above the 9 again. 10. I keep saying 9 because I've traded the 9 EMA for 22 years. So I'm having a hard time saying 10. And it's an SMA, it's not an EMA. I've been trading with EMAs and SMAs, but this is just an SMA chart. So we stayed, the 10 stayed above the 20, and then finally kind of squeezed up under it, so that was the exit idea. 10, 10, 10, 10. The next one is GOOG, G-O-O-G. Same situation, you see it all day long. You got a fallen wedge, you got a bottom, double bottom, up to the 200. Another snake, you got a crossover, back to the 200. So you want to look at this, draw this out. This is how I call this trade out. It's on 1 minute, so that knife lasted about 5 minutes. Actually, that's pretty cool right there. I'm running up against these bodies. So you let out with 3 white soldiers. As you broke the 10, then you had your crossover. It's not quite as clean. Let's go to the 2 minute. But if you're still above that, you still stay in it. Yeah, this is a lot prettier. This is 3 black crows, and you can see the higher lows right here. It runs up, hits the 20, 2 engulfing candles out of the trade. That's kind of like a symmetrical flag right there, just on the 2 minutes. Then it respects the 20, and then finally you have your crossover, then another breakout. Kind of a dead duck. Google wasn't doing too good. There's another nice little trade right here. You got your bull flag. If you can count to 4, you can make a little bit more. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. Gosh darn it, I gotta get a new mouse. So this is a head and shoulders right here. This trade right here, you got that hammer and that doji, boom, to a double top out of the trade. Comes back, triple top, pulls back. 1, counting the wicks, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got a spinning top right here, buy signal, 2 of them. Then it finally breaks out. You got the crossover. If you can count to 4, you jump in that trade right there. Boom, to the 200 out of the trade. Pulls back to the previous resistance of the 4. Boom, another scalp to the 20. Just from there to there. You buy 2 or 3 contracts at $4, you might make $300 out of that trade. Amazon. Right out of the gate, right off the 200. I would have took that trade and sold it on them 2 engulfing candles. No brainer. We're staying above the 10. We came back and retested the 10. Could have got a little more out of it maybe. Then we had the dark pull, we had the sell off here. We have an inverted hammer. Boom, we got the crossover. Now we're above the 10. Exit the trade once it fails the 10. Now we're under the 10. I buy a put. I hold it until the crossover. As we start to consolidate, I decide to go ahead and scale out of my put. I'm waiting for the crossover now. So you've got the 10 crossing the 20. I'm in the trade right here on this hammer. Boom! 3 white soldiers out of the trade to the 200. I'm consolidating. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. 1, 2, 3, knife. Triple top, bearish. Another snake. We have another crossover. We decide to scalp it once it breaks the 20. Boom! Out of the trade. Another one right here. 3 white soldiers out of the trade. Amazon. And that's the way I call them out before they even happen. Coming in the morning. I said, man, I had Meta on watch. Meta gets all the bad mouthing. C-cap this, C-cap that. Fear mongering here. They just wanted to bring this stock down. This is a money maker. They forget about that. Well, it's burning all of its cash for AI. Well, there's a reason for that. So we had the big breakout and the pullback to the 200. We have the crossover. The 10 crosses over the 21. I jump in the trade. Boom! Comes back and hits the 200 again. I decide to do it again. Boom! Double top. 1, 2, 3. Comes back again. And then we have the crossover. Now we're staying above the 10 all the way up here. These are 2 minutes apiece. If you can count to 16 or 12 on a 2-minute candle run, take profit and scale out. Tesla. Bounced right off the 200. Came right in here first thing in the morning. I have Tesla on my watch list. Boom. Scalp it. You're in this trade here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and it finally fails. You're out of the trade. Comes back down again. Another crossover above the 20. We have the crossover. We respected it. Respecting the 20. Respecting the 20 out of the trade. Now we're not respecting the 10. Puts out of the trade. We're coming close to the 200. Now we're squeezing. I'm watching this closely. I want to take this trade. But I did not do it. Then at the end of the day, off the 200, nice little scalp. 3 white soldiers, you're out of the trade. 3 white soldiers, what's that tell you? That's a leading indicator that we could have another breakout. Right into close. 3 black crows, another breakout. NVIDIA. First thing this morning, we're bouncing off the 200. 200, 200, 200, 200, 200. Big old breakout. Pulls back right into opening. Crossover. I'm jumping the trade. Boom, I'm out of the trade. Come back and respect the 20. I'm back in the trade. I'm out of the trade as it starts to cross down. Here's another hammer. We have a cross down, so we're not in it. But once it breaks, we're in the trade. Breaks past the 20. This thing could come down a little bit and jump in that trade as long as it respects this 20. And then we have the crossover. And you go, ah. All the way up to 20, staying in the trade. Keep me in the trade. Keep me in the trade. Keep me in the trade. And then boom, buying a put. Respecting the 10. To the 200, out of the trade. As we start to squeeze closer to the 20. Microsoft. This has had an excellent run already. So you've got a little bit of patience if you want to take this trade. SpaceX. First thing in the morning. We break past the 10 and we buy the trade. If it comes back down, we sell it. We sell it. We don't hesitate. We get out of the trade. Respect, 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 out of the trade. NVIDIA. I already did NVIDIA. SPY. comes down, hits the 200, breaks out. Crossover, comes down with 3 black crows, holds a little bit, still in the 20, still holding the 20, still holding the 20, still holding the 20, out of the trade. Double top, triple top, out of the trade. Apple, Amazon, Mr. Crossover, boom. Crossover, boom. Under the 20, you're buying puts. Look at that. You know how much that would have been a good payday right there. You're still in the trade. Had a little bounce, but that woke you up. That's a wake-up call. That engulfing candle. And then it comes back down, then you sell it. Because this is a wake-up call. This is a wake-up call. Another one. Under the 10, crossover, boom. All the way to the 200. You're done. You're out of the trade. Now was up $7.53. First thing this morning. Crossover. Comes back and hits that crossover right there. You're in the trade. Boom. You could have sold it. Could have sold it here. And you still stay in the trade. Boom. You got a double top. You're out of the trade. AMD. Crossover. Put until it crosses up. You got 3 white soldiers. Could tell you maybe we could have a breakout here to get out of the trade. But then we created a fallen wedge and had a bounce. So when we broke out right here, it came back and retested the previous resistance. Boom. Snake, bearish, crossover, scalp. Cross down, crossover, too late. Tweezer bottom into the close. I would have took that trade if I was watching it. Netflix, right out of the gate. The 10 crosses the 20. You got an opportunity to take that trade right there. You got a harmony candlestick pattern. Respects the 200. If you miss this entry, you got that entry. Stays above the 20, you're still good. And you start paying attention when it goes below the 10. Still tight. They're still tight. And then boom. We got Marvell. First thing in the morning. Got a snake breakout, pull back into an inverse head and shoulders. There's your trade. Right there, the crossover. Boom. You listen to me, and you know my inverse head and shoulders strategy, you know that right shoulder is definitely a strong buy if it hits twice. Above the 10, I'm still staying in the trade. Hits the 200, it's got my attention. It's got my attention. The 200, 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 the 200. I'm scalping a Darvis box. Walmart. Right first thing in the morning. You got snake, breakout, pull back, symmetrical flag, crossover, in the trade, holding above the 9, staying in the trade, staying in the trade. Decide to take profit once it hit the 200, but we respect the 200. Boom, we respect the 200. Boom, we respect the 200. Respect, 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 respect. CMG, right out of the gate. You're under the, you could be buying puts until you get the crossover. Right here, you got the crossover. You got 3 white soldiers, could be a continuation pattern, but not in this case. That might be one I'd want to watch. I don't know. I can't stand Chipotle. I think their food sucks. I've only ate 1 burrito there and I about died. IWM. Darvis box all day long. All day long. 3 white soldiers out of the trade. 3 white soldiers out of the trade. 3 white soldiers out of the trade. Off the 200 out of the trade. AVGO. Crossover. Never could break it. We're in the put. Then we see these hammers. We decide to get out. 3 white soldiers. Boom. Pulls back and scalp in the 200. 2 to 3 minutes at a time, 6 minutes, 5 minutes at a time, became resistance. QCOM. All ran up all day long. Here's a nice little trade right here. Never could break the 20. Boom. Couldn't break the 20. Boom. Got a triple bottom. 1, 2, 3. Fallen wedge. If you can count to 3, you can trade with me. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Crossover. Now we're respecting the 20 to the 200 out of the trade. As long as it stays above the 200, you're still in the trade. I mean the 20. Coin. Right off the 200, breaks it, you're out of the trade. Comes down again below the 200 with 3 black crows again, crosses. Boom! A parabolic run. When you start to top out, you get out of the trade. Off the 200, boom. Off the 200, boom. Off the 200, boom. Oxy. Always a trade. Always a trade. Snake. Fallen wedge. Crossover, you're in the trade, and you sell it. It held. You got back in it. It held, it held, it held, it held, it held. Boom, baby. It held, it held, it held, it held, it held, it held. An all-day trade. Oxy. Here's sticks down 40 bucks. Look at here. You watch about any stock you wanted to if you have a good watch list. Put. Nope, crossed over. I'm out of the put. Now I've got me a little symmetrical flag right here. We had the crossover. I'm in the call. Boom, 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 boom. Sell it. We start to have the crossover. Then we come back in it. Now these little baby steps. I don't like that shit. But it gradually bounced up to the 200. Crowd strike. First thing this morning, engulfing candle. Jumps and breaks out, and you miss it, unless you were watching it. Then you turn the page and you see it, and you decide, oh, I'm going to get a put here. Then you have the crossover. Boom. Engulfing candle with a hammer. That would have been a trade I would have took. Pawn, we got Dell up 16 bucks. Under the 10, then you had 3 black crows and you sold it. You had crossover, then you had an inverse head and shoulders. You had the crossover, and you got it in the trade. And you run it up. You're respecting that 10 again. PANW. You got a double bottom. So you're under your inputs when you cross down below the 10, and you're holding them until you break the 10. And then you're squeezing, and then you got the crossover, and you jump in the trade. Comes back and retests that 20, and then you're out at the 20, at the 200. When I'm trading these stocks, I'm looking at the /ES. Off the 200, we've got a megaphone pattern I called out in the room. 1 wick, 2, 3, boom, to the top of that. That was unbelievable trade. Unbelievable trade right there. And then we respected the 20 all the way up. See, I'd freak out about here and I'd probably sell it, because I'd figure that might be a continuation pattern to the downside off the 200 right here to the 20. And that's /ES. But I use a /ES when I'm trading the SPX and the SPY. Every time this thing gets close to the VWAP, I want to, like this one right here was at 146. Right in here. And then it came down. That's on the 1 minute. I can't see the time. That's strange. Probably that's why. Took it right off that 200. And then it comes down. So you got inverse head and shoulders right here. You got a yin yang. Sometimes you got to look for chart patterns. So you got a yin yang with a head and shoulders. There's your left shoulder, your head, your right shoulder, and your right shoulder. Boom. So I'm over here looking at this. When we had like this double bottom here on this inverse head and shoulders at 146. And that's right when I took that trade. Right there. Right there. Somewhere in here. Breaks out of the channel, comes back and retests that shoulder line. Boom, on the SPX. And that was right off that there dip. With the inverse head and shoulders and a double bottom to the right side of the head. So that's a strong buy. So that's it. That's what I'm going to be working on this week, is to stay in the trade longer. And I'm going to be using the 200 SMA, the 10 SMA, and the 20 SMA. And we're going to wait for it to break out of the snake and create some kind of pattern or a crossover or a pullback to that previous resistance. That's it. Sneaky snake trading strategy, where I talk about chart patterns, moving averages, and being in the now. And have a great day.